Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? Hope you're doing well. Good morning to you. We, it has been a gray and stormy day this morning, so we have been contending with rain and showers and some pretty good thunderstorms coming through. So I've been running all over the city trying to stay between the raindrops. Good morning, Karen. Hope you're doing well this morning. Well, everybody's doing great on this blustery day. Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing great. See a couple more folks coming in, and we'll go from there. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Let us get going this morning. It is the 30th day of May. We are almost into June. June is coming this weekend. It is very exciting. I hope this great season of June that is coming, that has all those elements, the graduations, the excitement, the preparation and stepping into summer, all that entails, the change of season that is this May to June kind of transition time. And so I hope there's goodness in it for you. I hope there's wonder in it for you. I hope things unfold in such a way that you get to experience the beauty of that transformation. And it's a little bit what we want to talk about this morning. So I want to talk about this story from Jeremiah. It's one of the most, I think, one of the more famous stories in the Old Testament. It is the story of Jeremiah and Zedekiah. So let's get into it. So I'll just tell you the story because we can read it, but it's kind of long and it's kind of trapped in the Old Testament. But I just want to tell you when it's story time today. So pull up your little carpet, pull up your little blanket, romp back in romper room day, and let's have story time. So the Babylonians, the great army of Babylon that is at the gate of Jerusalem. They are there to destroy the city, and they're there to take everybody captive. Meanwhile, the city is kind of holed up, and under the king Zedekiah, whose prophet that's been wandering around the palace is a guy by the name of Jeremiah. So Jeremiah, wandering around the prophet, the palace, and wandering around town, telling everybody, yeah, Zedekiah, this king that we have, yeah, he's not going to succeed against the Babylonians. In fact, you're all going to die. Well, he doesn't really say you're all going to die, but he does say the Babylonians are going to be successful, which means they're going to take over the city. And there's nothing Zedekiah can do about it. As you might imagine, this is not good for morale in a city that is getting ready, perhaps to try and resist the Babylonian who are coming to invade. This might not be the best thing. So, as we talk about June being this time of transition into summer, this is a time of transition for the people in Israel, but it's a little different than just, getting ready for the barbecue. So Zedekiah has had it with Jeremiah. He's like, this is enough. So he throws him in jail. So But this doesn't necessarily shut Jeremiah up. He's still, even from jail, kind of, giving you little missives and telling him, if Zedekiah, he's not going to make it. That they're not going to, that you're going to fight against the Babylonians, but you're not going to succeed. So Zedekiah's had it, and so he said, what else can he do? So he's got him in jail, but meanwhile, people hear him talking about this, and you can imagine what do you do if you've got, if you're in Jerusalem at this time, if you're in Judah and you're getting ready for the Babylonian incursion, what do you do? Well, if you have something, you sell it for some road money, right? Like if what Jeremiah really says is true, and he has a pretty good track record, then we need to get out of here. We need to run for it. And if we're going to run for it, that means we need to have some money. So that means we're going to start selling stuff. And so who comes to Jeremiah to visit him in prison but his cousin? Now his cousin, you might think it's like a nice little, kind of, family visit. But the reality is his cousin comes to say, hey, you have the first right of refusal on this land that is going to get sold because of the family ties of things. We're going to sell my uncle's land, his uncle's land, and you get the first right of refusal. So Jeremiah from jail with his cousin Hanamel that comes to visit him and says, hey, you need to buy this field. So Jeremiah prays and receives from God a single word, yet buy the field. Now think about this. Jeremiah is in jail. He's hated by the king. Babylonians are not going to be his friend. His own family is just trying to extract money out of him in order so that they can get on the run, because they at least believe that he probably knows something about what's going on. And what then does Jeremiah do? Well, he buys the field. And he not just buys the field, but he does this elaborate ritual of doing a proper mortgage transfer. They make they seal one deed. They have another deed that is unsealed. And then he commands. He says, take the unsealed one, put it in a jar, and stop it up so that it will last a long time. Because, and this is the promise of the whole thing, that as he comes he says, and because this, he says, for this is what the Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Houses, fields, vineyards will again be bought in this land. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I just love this story. It is the story of Jeremiah's incredible faithfulness in the face of all of this, because God says, that there may be a great army coming down on us. There may be a great, everybody may be leaving us left and right. The very forces of the state may be set against us. But what do? Jeremiah digs in. Jeremiah doesn't even let the idea that he's in jail stop him. He says, no, I'm going to buy this land. I'm going to invest. And he takes the 17 shekels of silver, which is a considerable sum, and pays it to his cousin so that he possesses land that is that everybody around him says is a fool's bet. Even by his own testimony, it is a fool's bet to invest in land that is about to be conquered by the Babylonians, and which is about to be laid waste to. Like, nobody, they're not going to care about who owns what deed. Now the Babylonians own it all. Some soldier's going to set up his tent on your land, and that's it. I love this story so much, because I think it offers us something about this age that we're dealing with, this world that we're contending with these days. That we think of the chaos in the world, and overseas. We think of the chaos of the world at home. We think of the economic challenges around us. We think of the things that are falling down and breaking, the institutions that are shaky, the people we had confidence in that seems to no longer have confidence, the offices that seem to not make sense and be inhabited by less than competent folks. We look at potholes in the road, like whatever you think of it, and you say, how can we invest in this? You hear it in young people. You hear it like, well, I don't know, I mean, I've heard this from people, like, I don't know if I want to bring children into this world as a kid. I don't know how we can do that. Like, or if you're a creative, I don't know how what can we write? What can we create in a world that has all this injustice in it, or all this horror in it, or it's just falling apart in the middle of all of this. And I think Isaiah's call is exactly it. We may all be facing a great army. We may all be facing forces that will destroy us tomorrow. In fact, we all are. Every one of us has a ticker on us, and one day we will be called home to the Lord. Every one of us has this way in which we feel like there's we're one good kind of car accident or one good diagnosis away from our lives and our world radically changing in terms of what we're capable of and what we can do. We're all, and this idea of being besieged, this idea of having this great army at the doorstep, this idea that where something's going to get us. Well, it's true. It's kind of, in some ways, it's not just the condition of the world today in 2024. It's actually just the condition of the world. And yet, the invitation is for us to invest in this moment, to buy the land now, to stake our claim now. If there is a piece of our lives that needs to be cultivated and encouraged, and invest in it now. If there's a relationship, I used to see this a lot with marriages. I used to see this with it was a thing I would do when I would when I counsel couples. So one of the things I'll do is simply ask them to tell the story of what they like of what they, when they first met each other, what they liked about each other. What was it that drew them to that person that they would decide to then become engaged to and then marry? What was it about that? What became compelling about that person? What was different than all the other people? And in a way, what that did is it brought them back to their original deed. Hopefully brings them back a little bit to their original deed. It doesn't make the great besieging armies of their relationship go away. It doesn't change the circumstance. It doesn't mean that they might not have to work through some really hard things in some really hard ways. But what it does do is bring them back to where they staked their claim on the true and the good and the beautiful. And friends, my invitation and my hope for you over this weekend and over these days as we get ready to move into this June, and I hope it's beautiful and wonderful, and that the truly the warmth of summer comes alive in it. But as we enter into that, we also have the courage and have the call to stake our claim. To buy the field, because here's the thing about life, and we'll land it here today, because here's the thing about life that we forget, is we are going to buy something. We're going to buy something. We can't, as human beings, not stand somewhere, not believe in something, not buy something. It goes all the way back to Deuteronomy. I've placed before you life and death. Choose life. Now that seems like a simple thing, but the reality is, but what that really illustrates to us, just as the way it really illustrates in Jeremiah's story, is that we all must stand somewhere. We don't get there's not the third choice of, I have placed before you life and death, and choose somewhere in the middle. Choose ish. Like choose a little bit of death, or a little bit of life. No, we either love the people in our lives, and with all of their warts and difficulties and struggles. We love our society with all of its warts and difficulties and struggles. We love the world, and that doesn't mean we accept all the things in it. Don't hear what I'm not saying. That means doesn't mean it's all good. That means that the army is very well could be right at the gates. The barbarians could be there to destroy us all. That is real. And yet, the only real option we have in this life is our ability to buy the true and the good and the beautiful place, to buy the place that the sweetest wine comes from, this little land in Anathoth that Jeremiah was buying, and to buy it now. Because we don't have a tomorrow to buy it in. You can't do a transaction tomorrow. You can only do a transaction today. You can only set your seal on it, meaning you can only make your commitment to it. You can only, how many times has anybody ever said to you, well, I'm going to start my diet Monday? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Today is our day. Now is our time. It doesn't matter what monsters are at your gate. It doesn't matter what pain seems to be in your heart. It doesn't matter what despair you seem to think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Today is the day. What will you buy? What will you buy? What will you buy with these precious moments that God has given you, with this life that is in your chest, and with this consciousness that's in your being? What will you make your own and bring into this world? Will it be the beauty and the truth and the sweet place of Anathoth, that the land of your ancestors? And will you stand there and for whatever may come in it? Or will you just give up? Throw yourself into prison. Run for the hills. And discover, as we all do eventually, that no matter where we go, there we are. We still have ourselves to contend with. We still have the world as it is to contend with. Friends, our little friend Jeremiah has, I think, for us this incredible invitation that I hope you'll take up in this new season and this new month of June that stands before us. To buy the true, the good, and the beautiful things in your life and stand with them, to stand in them. Commit yourself to them, to bringing great beauty into this world. And that in doing so, you stand with the Jeremiahs of the world, and you hear God's promise in your own life. Houses and fields and vineyards will again be bought in this land. All right, peace and grace to you, my friends. We'll pick it up next week with another 11:11.